Today I'll be showing you how to make a delicious shepherd's pie, classic comfort food at its finest. It starts with a savory meat and gravy filling, topped with fluffy mashed potatoes. All you really need are some pantry staples, ground meat, herbs and spices, veggies, and potatoes to make this.
Welcome back, my name is Daniel, here to show you simplified recipes that are easy to follow using common ingredients. If you're new to this channel, remember to hit subscribe and that notification bell for more delicious recipes that your friends and family will love. Now let's get started on this shepherd's pie.
Start with preparing the ingredients for the filling by dicing up one large yellow onion. Also, mince up 2 cloves of garlic. Pour some oil into a non-stick skillet and turn the heat up to medium-high. Give the oil a swirl and add in the onions. Let the onions cook down for a while until softened. Then, add in 1 pound of ground meat. Traditionally, shepherd's pie uses ground lamb, but I'm using ground beef today. Break up the meat with your spatula and allow it to brown. At this point, add in your herbs and spices of choice to your personal taste. I seasoned it with some salt, black pepper, garlic powder, dried basil, sugar, dried thyme, and dried parsley. Stir all the seasonings in, and once the meat looks mostly cooked through with little to no pink, stir it together with the onions. Make a little hole in the middle and add in the garlic. Also, add in 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Allow the garlic to cook until it starts to turn lightly golden and has released its flavor. Then, stir everything together well. Add in 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour and stir that in, allowing it to cook for about a minute or 2. Then, add in 1 cup of chicken broth and 1 cup of veggies. I'm using frozen peas and carrots today. Stir everything together, letting it simmer for several minutes. The sauce should thicken up. Remove from the heat and transfer the meat filling to a baking dish, where the flavors will continue to meld as it rests. Remember to spread the filling evenly to the edges. For the mashed potato topping, you'll need 2 pounds of potatoes that have been washed and peeled. Cut them into roughly 1-inch chunks. Put the potatoes into a large pot and cover it with water. Add a generous amount of salt, cover the pot with a lid, and turn the heat on to high, bringing the potatoes to a boil. Remember to preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Give the potatoes a stir to make sure they aren't sticking, and allow it to cook for about 8 to 10 minutes or until they are fork tender. Then, drain the potatoes. In the same pot we boiled the potatoes in, Add in a quarter cup of butter and a quarter cup of milk over medium heat. How much milk you use will affect the consistency of the mashed potatoes, so I always start with less and then add more later. When the butter is melted into the milk, remove it from heat. Mash your potatoes into the pot using your preferred method. As you know, I'm a huge fan of using a potato ricer. I find it yields the fluffiest potatoes, but use whatever you have on hand to get the potatoes mashed. If you really want to fancy up this dish, you should check out my loaded mashed potato recipe that I made a while back, but I'm going to keep things simple today. Season with some salt, black pepper, and garlic powder to taste. Then, stir everything together. If the potatoes are too dry, slowly add in more milk until it reaches your desired consistency. Alternatively, use half and half or heavy cream instead of milk for richer mashed potatoes. Remember to taste it and adjust for seasonings if needed. Dollop the mashed potatoes all over the meat filling. Then, spread it to the edges, covering the entire dish, making sure none of the filling can be seen. Use the back of a metal spoon to create ridges and rough up the top, which will create the most beautiful golden crispy crust. Now it's ready to bake. Bake the shepherd's pie at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes or until the top is golden brown and the filling inside is bubbling. Let it rest for 10 to 15 minutes so everything can settle before serving. And there you have it, my classic shepherd's pie recipe that makes a hearty and satisfying all-in-one meal. It can easily be upscaled to feed a crowd for potlucks and parties, and everyone will absolutely love it. This dish will also warm you right up, making it perfect to serve during the cooler times in the fall and winter months. Hope you enjoy!
All right, everyone, it is time for the taste test. I am really excited about the shepherd's pie because it smells so good in the kitchen as it was baking. Oh, I'm gonna take a nice big bite, lots of beef, lots of potato. Here we go, first bite. Oh yeah. Absolutely perfect. Oh, it's incredible. Just gotta go in for one more bite. Oh, I can't help myself. It's really that good. And that filling is so delicious. That ground beef has that savory quality to it, and I can taste all those spices that we have in there, the thyme, the parsley. There's meat, there's veggies, there's starch. You have your meal all in one. Of course, authentic shepherd's pie uses minced lamb or ground lamb. I didn't have that today, so I just used ground beef. So it's technically referred to as cottage pie, but it's delicious no matter what you call it. And you can make the filling or the mashed potatoes ahead of time, so it's really convenient in that way. You just pop it into the oven and bake it right before you are ready to serve. This dish also reheats extremely well. You can store it in the fridge or the freezer if you're gonna plan to store it for a longer period of time. And you just pop it into the oven or even in the microwave if you aren't that picky, and it makes a delicious lunch the next day. And you can of course customize this recipe very easily. Use whatever your favorite mashed potato recipe is in this. And also the filling, you can use whatever kind of ground meat. You can use ground chicken, ground turkey, ground beef, ground pork. You can also add in whatever veggies you like, remove anything you don't like. You can season it with a ton of herbs and spices, whatever your preferences. And you can also make this vegetarian by adding in some beans and mushrooms in place of the meat. It's so incredible. And your friends and family are absolutely gonna love this dish. They're gonna be raving about it. This shepherd's pie is absolutely phenomenal. And as always, if you like this recipe, give me a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below what kind of comfort food you want to see me make next. And remember to hit subscribe and that notification bell for more delicious recipes. I will see everyone soon. Till next time, bye everyone.